Welcome to the Mary Potter podcast. Ready for another magical probe?
Absolutely. Always up for good magical exploration.
Okay, good. So this week, we're going to be diving into a couple of really wild tales, actually. Two of them. Wizarding World flash fiction, as always. But these ones, well, they really kind of twist familiar legends, you know? And the characters, too, I gotta say, they're pretty unforgettable.
Oh, I'm intrigued already.
Yeah, you guys shared some really captivating stuff with us, so we're going to unpack it all. Get ready for some seriously surprising twists, some ancient magic, maybe even a chuckle or two along the way.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. First up, we're taking on, you guessed it, the Arthurian legend.
Classic.
But forget that typical Camelot picture you've got in your head, okay?
Okay, I'm ready to forget it.
This flash fiction story is called The Boy with Excalibur, and well, Arthur's not just some future king here. He's a magically gifted, kind of clueless teenager.
Teenager with magic. What could
Yeah.
possibly go wrong?
Right. And Merlin. Merlin's, well, he's not exactly the wise old sage we're used to. More like a very patient, slightly exasperated mentor.
I can already picture it.
The story really flips that whole dynamic on its head, you know? Makes you think about destiny and what leadership actually looks like in those early, messy stages.
Absolutely. And speaking of flipping things on their head, the first thing that really grabs you in this story is that subversion of those classic archetypes, right? We're so used to wise Merlin guiding noble Arthur, but here we've got Arthur as this raw, untamed, magical force, almost like a chaotic force of nature.
Yeah.
And he's the seasoned veteran just trying to wrangle that wild energy.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the opening scene just drops you right into the chaos.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can almost hear Merlin's internal groan, you know. Not another magically inclined youth.
Especially one who's more into exploding cauldrons than carefully practiced spells.
Exactly. And the poor king, I mean, he's practically pulling his hair out because young he's turning the royal cabbage patch into a whole zoo of mythical creatures.
It's wonderfully absurd, isn't it?
It is. And the tone, too, it's so engaging. This is not your average,
Yeah.
heroic origin story.
No, not at all. And it really makes you wonder, what does destiny even look like when the so-called chosen one is, well, a work in progress.
Right.
The story captures this beautifully with that description of Arthur's magic, wild magic skittering beneath his skin like an untrained puppy.
Yeah, I love that image.
It's so vivid. You get a real sense of both the potential, the raw power, and the utter lack of control.
Yeah. Makes you wonder if those legendary figures we hear about, maybe they weren't always those perfect heroes we imagine.
Right from the start. Interesting.
And then there's Merlin, bless his pointy hat. He's always one step behind, it seems, armed with a whole stack of containment charms and just an endless supply of dry wit.
I mean, someone's got to keep things from going completely off the rails.
Right. Their quest for Excalibur, too. It's less a dignified procession and more a slapstick comedy routine.
Oh, yeah.
Getting completely lost in an enchanted forest, Arthur befriending these grumpy talking trees.
Well, that seems plausible, right? If trees could talk, they'd probably be a bit grumpy.
Exactly. And the Lady of the Lake, she's more interested in Arthur's picnic basket than giving him a legendary sword.
It's a fantastic subversion of expectations. It forces you to consider the everyday realities that might have existed even in these fantastical settings. Were these mythical figures always on some grand epic scale, or were there these moments of utter mundanity,
Right, that history just conveniently forgot.
Exactly. History's full of those little omissions.
And then when Arthur actually does find Excalibur, it's so anticlimactic.
Oh, real.
No dramatic summoning, no choirs of angels. He trips over it
Yeah.
after accidentally causing a minor magical earthquake.
Oh, of course he does.
The sword itself, too, the description, it says it has a grumpy-looking hilt.
It really makes you question those grand narratives we build around these significant events, doesn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes the most pivotal moments, maybe they're just clumsy accidents.
That's a fascinating thought, isn't it? It challenges that whole idea of destiny as this meticulously planned, preordained thing. This story suggests that sometimes those big events, those turning points, they just happen, from being in a wrong place at the right time or just being a bit clumsy.
Yeah. And then, of course, the bandits show up. classic fairy tale obstacle.
Right. Gotta have some bandits.
But Arthur, he doesn't suddenly turn into some master swordsman. No, he
No.
just unleashes this wave of raw, uncontrolled magic and wins through sheer dumb luck.
Sounds about right.
It's messy, it's flashy, it's the opposite of that refined hero we usually expect. But the really powerful part comes after, around the campfire. Arthur actually admits that having all that power, it's scary.
That's a pivotal moment, I think. It moves beyond the typical effortless hero, and it shows us the real emotional weight of having those kinds of abilities, especially for someone so young and unprepared. Adds a layer of vulnerability, I think, makes him more relatable.
And Merlin's response too, it's so telling. He doesn't just dismiss Arthur's fear. He uses it. He explains to Arthur that knowing when to be intimidating, well, that's part of being truly strong.
Yeah, it's not just about having the power, is it? It's about knowing how and when to use it, and more importantly, why.
And that's where Merlin's mentorship really starts. It's not just teaching Arthur spells, it's teaching him responsibility, teaching him control.
That's such a subtle but important shift in the classic narrative. It's not just about getting the magical sword, it's about what you do with it, what it means to actually be a leader.
Yeah. And we see that play out in their later adventures, the battles, the negotiations with the Fey folk. Even the surprisingly normal stuff they end up using Excalibur for, like toasting marshmallows.
Toasting marshmallows with a legendary sword.
Right. It's those little details, those human touches that really make this flash fiction story so captivating. It makes those legendary figures feel, well, almost ordinary.
I think that's the point, right? To see these larger than life figures and realize that they're just like us in a lot of ways.
Right. Now let's shift gears a bit. We're heading east into ancient China for our next flash fiction story. This one's called The Dragon Empress.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
It's a reimagining of the life of Wu Zetian. She was China's only female emperor.
Oh, I'm familiar with her. A fascinating figure.
And in this story, she stumbles upon the secret to immortality. But as you might expect, eternal life, well, it comes with a price tag.
There's always a catch.
Right. Jealous spirits, a court full of backstabbers, and the weight of a reign that never ends.
Sounds like a lot to handle.
Yeah. We're going to dive into, the magic that's woven into this historical setting and really think about the cost of power, of longevity, the things we might think we want, but maybe they come at a higher price than we realize.
I'm ready to dive in.
Okay. So right off the bat, the story pulls you in. We open with Wu Zetian finding a secret scroll. It's hidden in the sleeve of a dying emperor. The scroll, it has these cryptic instructions that only Wu Zetian can figure out.
And just like that, we know she's not just anyone.
Right. From a low-ranking concubine to something much greater. And the description of the elixir itself, it's amazing. It tastes like copper and defiance. It's like a statement.
Copper and defiance. What a potent image.
Right. And it's more than just, living longer. It's about seizing power in a world that wants to keep her down. That taste of defiance, it's her challenging the rules.
And the consequences are immediate, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. The first night that she doesn't age, a vengeful spirit shows up, accuses her of stealing something that wasn't hers to take.
Always someone trying to rain on your parade.
But her reaction, it's so good. She offers the spirit poison tea with a smile.
That's Wu Zetian for you.
Right. It shows her cunning, her ruthlessness. She will protect what she's won no matter the cost. And that's just the beginning of the supernatural problem she's going to face.
Magic in this world clearly isn't always a force for good. There are things out there that don't like it when you mess with the natural order, especially something as big as immortality.
Right. She becomes a target, not just from rivals in the court, but from something else entirely.
And the court itself, it's already a dangerous place, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's all whispers and rumors, people calling her unnatural.
That's interesting, isn't it? It's a reflection of the prejudice she already faced as a woman in power, but now it's amplified by the immortality.
And even her own sons, they start to resent her endless rule. The secret of the elixir, it becomes a weapon.
I can imagine. Everyone wants a piece of that.
And Wu Zetian, she's always on guard. She's playing a a dangerous game on multiple levels.
Makes you wonder what it would really be like to live forever.
Right. There's a really striking image in the story too. The ceiling of her throne room. It's always lit up with these constellations that only she can see.
Mm.
It's a constant reminder, of her pact with magic, of the strange, lonely place she occupies.
It's like she's caught between two worlds, isn't it? The world of her empire and the world of magic. And no one else can truly understand what she's going through.
And as the centuries go by, the threats just keep getting worse. Demons, power-hungry generals, even her own descendants, they all want what she has. She has to fight constantly to hold on to her power, to stay alive.
So much for a peaceful, eternal life, huh?
Exactly. The story makes you question whether immortality is really such a good thing.
Right. I mean, her empire thrives, but she loses everyone she knows. She's alone. Forever.
And that final image in the story, it's so powerful. Wu Zeren, she touches her own reflection. Her skin's like polished porcelain, but her eyes, they're old, ancient. They've seen so much.
It's a powerful reminder that everything comes at a cost, even something as tempting as immortality.
It leaves you wondering, did she achieve what she wanted? Was it all worth it? Or did she just condemn herself to an endless struggle? It's a haunting thought.
Haunting, but thought-provoking. It makes you really consider what it means to have power, to have time, and what truly matters in the end.
So what did you think of these two stories? It's amazing how flash fiction can take these figures and legends we think we know and turn them into something completely new.
It's a testament to the power of imagination, isn't it? How these short stories can pack so much depth and meaning into such a concise format.
The Boy with Excalibur. I loved how it showed us Arthur as this awkward, magically gifted kid, not the polished hero of legend. And Merlin, well, he was less of a wise sage and more of a tired but dedicated teacher.
It's a fresh take and a funny one too.
Right, and that whole idea of destiny too, being less of a clear path and more of a series of messy accidents, like tripping over Excalibur and using it to toast marshmallows. It's brilliant.
I especially enjoyed that part. It just goes to show that even the most legendary figures, they have their clumsy moments.
And then there's the Dragon Empress, which takes Wu Zetian, this incredibly powerful historical figure, and explores the darker side of immortality, the loneliness, the constant threat, the weight of living forever.
It's a cautionary tale in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. And that image of her seeing those constellations, the ones that only she can see, it's such a poignant reminder of her isolation, her unique and maybe not so enviable position.
It makes you think about what we really value, connection, purpose, legacy. Those things can be just as important as power or a long life.
These flash fiction stories, they're short, but they really give you a lot to think about.
They do. They offer these new perspectives on familiar stories, and they make us question the things we might take for granted.
Yeah. What really stood out to you in these stories? Were you surprised by that funny take on Arthur and Merlin?
Yeah.
What do you think the real cost of Wu Zetian's immortality was? We'd love for you to keep thinking about these questions. Maybe even explore some other stories from the wizarding world of flash fiction. There's so much out there to discover.
And it's a reminder that magic can be found in the most unexpected places.
Thanks for joining us on the Mary Potter podcast for this magical probe. Don't forget to rate and follow the show for more amazing stories from the wizarding world.
Until next time.
See you next week.